Microsoft Flight Simulator is finally here, but what if you want even more realism to go along with it? Here then are the best simulation games on PC you can play in 2020. It takes 1,500 hours to train to be an airline pilot, which means that if you want to head up to the skies, you'll likely be looking at 2 years of rigorous training. Luckily, in a video game, that learning period reduces to however long it takes to read a quick set of instructions. Yes, Microsoft Flight Simulator has arrived. A chance to fly around the entire world, visiting the Great Pyramids, holidaying at the other side of the planet, or just taking a screenshot of your grand street. But if you're yet to pick it up, or maybe you're afraid of heights, there are plenty of other sims that keep your feet firmly on the ground. Before we hand you the keys to your vehicle of choice though, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more videos all about gaming, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when another video lands. Speaking of landing, here are the best simulation games you can play in 2020.
Do you remember a few years ago when every developer used to start their big trade show presentations by telling you, see that mountain on the horizon? You can go there right from the start of the game. Well, do you know what, games industry circa 2015? Flight Simulator 2020 has absolutely done you. Thanks to a combination of petabytes of Bing Maps data, Microsoft's Azure AI and actual dark wizardry, planet Earth is basically fully explorable in this latest Microsoft Flight Sim. I didn't even know petabytes was a word before this, and I also didn't know how to land an Airbus A320 using ILS approach, so that really speaks to this sim's chops as a teacher. Hook up a HOTAS like the X56 or a yoke and a few multifunction panels, and you're basically in sim heaven.
Farming Simulator is one of those games that's pretty easy to scoff at. If you've spent most of your gaming career saving galaxies or fighting demons, the thought of tilled earth and crop rotation might strike you as dull. But give it a chance, and there's a satisfying, relaxing, uniquely challenging experience to be had in Farming Simulator 19. It's one of those games that delights in not giving you shortcuts. Yes, you will have to harvest that entire field of wheat yourself, or at least hire someone to do it for you if you're feeling lazy. And the multiple steps in each process make this granular, or in this case granular game, feel weirdly satisfying, even though it should feel like pointless busywork. You can even pick up Logitech G's heavy equipment bundle if you want to fully immerse yourself in the world of chugging tractors and wheat chaff. Plaid shirts are entirely optional.
This is absolutely the best version of following a Mercedes from 2 seconds back that the venerable Cody's F1 series has produced so far, and that's saying something considering their high bar over the last decade. This time, the focus is on running a team, which if this game's anything to go by, is a right laugh. Basically, you just choose a colour scheme that will make designers sick in their mouths, do a few press conferences and keep building better engines until Mercedes can do one. Easy. I don't know what Alan Prost, Toyota F1, Midland, Spiker, Hispania, Super Rigori, Virgin, Marussia, Lotus and Caterham were complaining about.
What's very special about this team, though, is that while the team itself is new to Formula One, so too is its driver and owner.
Running a team wouldn't be fun if the on-track side wasn't up to it, and thankfully there's a weightiness to the car behaviour this year that's brilliantly captured through a G923 as it purrs and rattles in your hands at every bump in the road.
Surely, one of the most thrilling things about a train simulator is that sensation of glorious speed, watching the world fly by as you hurtle endlessly across smooth tracks. Well, Train Sim World 2 does have that, but one of the reasons we're most excited about it is the fact that you can drive London Underground trains, specifically the Bakerloo line. Who cares if it's dark and there's no view and maybe monsters hiding behind those walls? You get to take in all of that iconic signage and even say, "Mind the gap," every single time you hit that door unlock button. If you do fancy some fresher air though, there's a Cologne intercity line to try for size in Germany, and a fresh new freight line across the Allegheny Mountains where you can test your mettle against some seriously steep grades. Oh, and if train design is your calling, the new customization tools mean you're always on the right style track.
Football managers used to be boorish men who looked like they took nourishment exclusively from pints of gravy and arguments. Now they tend to be disarmingly handsome Mediterranean types in fitted jumpers, and Sports Interactive's long-running, preposterously detailed sim has grown more sophisticated too. This latest is all about maintaining squad harmony with tactful little chats, keeping the social group together, and finally making sense of the tactics screen thanks to a UI overhaul. The match engine's getting better every year too, leaving just enough room to the imagination so that it still feels like your very personal FM fantasy universe, but also conveying a spectacular moment of techers like a long-distance volley with sufficient splendour. Is it as charming as Jurgen Klopp's laugh? Let's ask him. Yes. No, I make the joke.
If you've watched a few of the other videos on this channel, you'll know that every time food comes up, I feel a cold shiver run down my spine, and a flashback of Cooking Simulator appears in my mind. But despite my soup-related nightmare, the physics of Cooking Simulator can be as enjoyable as they are frustrating. In that when things go wrong, they go wrong. But when things go right, you'll feel like a 5-star chef. Try and ignore the thought of delicious broth over your trainers and just think about those picture-perfect entrees. This freedom to create means that if you're not up for following a recipe one day, you can just mash everything together in a pot and serve it up to your disgruntled customers. Or you can follow instructions to the gram and rise in fame, cooking up the tastiest meals around. Be warned though, you will get hungry. Sizzling salmon never looked so good.
Combine space travel with a high-tech laser cutter and you've got a sci-fi sim that pushes all the right buttons. Hardspace is about venturing into space, finding disused ships and salvaging them for valuable parts. Everything is physics-based, from climbing and cutting your way into cargo holds to carefully extracting resources. There's a lot that can go wrong here, especially in zero gravity. One imprecise move, such as cutting through a fuel pipe, could mean the whole ship goes up in flames and you fall into endless space. Every shuttle you visit is different, but with an arsenal of tools at your disposal to grapple, slice and scan your way around, you'll probably be fine. Probably. It's still in early access for now, but with nearly 1 million credits to pay off, you better get those magnetic gloves and gear and start selling various space parts. Is this worth much?
That's your meal ticket right there, Cutter.
From where no one can hear you scream to, well, another place where no one can hear you scream, but only because you've clearly driven yourself as far away from humanity as possible to go fishing. The catch, Carp and Coarse, can have other people involved if you really want them to be in multiplayer tournaments, but like with the very real sport, this is a chance to truly get away from it all with just the relaxing lapping of water and twittering birds. 35 species of fish lurk beneath those innocent-looking waves, and it'll take some bait and lure knowledge, as well as patience and perseverance, to bag them all. Oh, and did I mention that there are boss fish and monster boss fish? So even a peaceful fishing sim can become more like river monsters if you're hungry for true competition. And if you don't quite fancy the loneliness of a Scottish loch, although how could you resist, there's always urban fishing in Rotterdam.
Woodwork Simulator, much like many of our own IRL DIY projects, isn't quite finished yet. But unlike my bird box, which still needs a roof, floor, walls, a hole for the birds and a garden to put it in, the demo is complete enough to be fun. The joy here comes from how specific everything is. Materials need to be sawed, sanded and oiled. Chiseling takes time and precision, and thankfully it's not one of those games where you have to struggle against physics to achieve your creative goals. Yes, your early work will be awful, but that's your fault, not gravity's. It's a tricky game to get right, but that feels appropriate. You can't expect to step inside a workshop and start banging out perfectly crafted dovetail joints from day one. This makes Woodwork Simulator a weirdly satisfying experience, even if your avian holiday home looks like it should come with a warning from the RSPB.
Yes, it's back from our first best Sims list, but there's a very good reason that Eurotruck Simulator 2 just keeps on, well, trucking in 2020. SCS Software's 18-wheeler is an oddly captivating marvel. Loading up your perfectly customisable lorry and heading out onto the open road feels genuinely liberating. From the moment you drive out of the depot, this is your cargo, your mission, and every carefully mapped route and city feels like a brilliant discovery. Whether you're driving from Glasgow to Aberdeen and enjoying the beautiful Scottish countryside before the weather rains realistically on your parade, or driving through the picturesque castle-topped villages of Romania in the latest Black Sea region DLC, Eurotruck Simulator 2 is like a magnificent detailed screensaver for your brain. Except when you get too excited about the potential of seeing Dracula in Transylvania and spend too long looking at the scenery and not your speedometer. Thanks for the memories.
So those are the best simulation games you can play in 2020. Let us know your favourites in the comments below, drop us a like if you enjoyed our choices, and subscribe to Logitech G for more videos just like this one.